From the Pep Radio newsroom, these are the stories we are following at this hour. Earlier this year, as Republicans sought to ban books with Black history and LGBTQ plus themes from schools across the country, the nation's first openly Black gay senator stepped onto the Senate floor and read aloud from some of them. Perhaps for some of you here today, I am the face of one of your fears. Democratic Senator LaFonza Butler said in February, quoting 20th century poet Audre Lorde, because I am a Black woman, because I am a lesbian, because I am myself, a Black woman warrior poet doing work who has come to ask you, are you doing yours? At the time, Butler was just a few months into her tenure as California's junior senator, a 14-month stretch that began when she was appointed shortly after Senator Dianne Feinstein died in 2023, and that ends Monday when Representative Adam Schiff is sworn in to take her place. The reading was part of Butler's broader effort to put into the public record literature that's becoming harder to access in conservative states. But it was also an expression of the identity that helped catapult her into the Senate after Governor Gavin Newsom said in 2021 that he would appoint a Black woman to Feinstein's seat should it ever become vacant. As Butler, the third Black woman to serve in the Senate, leaves public office, the identity politics that were central to her rise are now under scrutiny by Democrats who are working to understand their devastating losses in this year's election. After a campaign in which Republicans ridiculed Vice President Kamala Harris as a DEI hire, a reference to diversity, equity, and inclusion, that suggested she was on the Democratic ticket due to her race and gender, former President Trump won in part because he gained support among Black and Latino voters. While historic, her appointment also drew some criticism. Republicans took issue with Newsom choosing someone who wasn't living in California. Butler is a longtime California homeowner, but had moved with her wife and daughter to Maryland while running Emily's List. In news from Florida, WYOU is reporting that a Florida man accused of a hate crime for killing a gay man is asking a judge to dismiss the charges, saying he acted in self-defense. Gerald Radford testified on Friday that he feared for his own life when he shot John Walt Lay at a Tampa dog park on February 2nd. Local news outlets report that Radford testified that Lay repeatedly hit him in the face just before the shooting. I don't know if I told him to stop or not, but he wasn't stopping, Radford testified in a hearing before Hillsborough Circuit Judge Samantha Ward. Radford is charged with second-degree murder. Prosecutors are seeking additional hate crime penalties if Radford is convicted. Defense attorneys cited Florida's Stand Your Ground law in seeking immunity from prosecution. Such laws say people have no duty to retreat before using deadly force when they believe they are defending themselves against a violent crime. Prosecutors dispute Radford's story. Several witnesses testified Friday that Radford had harassed Lay for months before the shooting, repeatedly using homophobic slurs. Prosecutors presented recorded jail phone calls where Radford used a homophobic slur to describe Lay after his arrest. Paul Gumpert, a friend of Lay, testified that it wasn't in Lay's character to be the aggressor, describing Lay as a very mild-mannered and very dismissive of any pressure against him. Lay shared a video claiming Radford had threatened him at the dog park the day before the shooting. In the video, Lay claimed he had an encounter with Radford at the park and that Radford told him, "You're going to die." Radford acknowledged using slurs against Lay, but he told Assistant State Attorney Justin Diaz under questioning that he treated Lay differently because of the way he treated me and not because of his sexual orientation. This is the intersection of the Stand Your Ground and gay trans panic defense playing out in a Florida courtroom. We will continue to follow this story as it develops. For more information about any of the stories we cover on PEP Radio, turn to the Pennsylvania Equality Project website, paequality.com, and be sure to click on the radio tower. Also, Be sure to download the Live 365 app to take Pep Radio with you wherever you go. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to click the subscribe button to keep up with the daily LGBTQ plus news. And that's the news at this hour. Now back to more music on Pep Radio.